Welcome everyone, and I'd like to thank the Free Thinking Film Society for presenting the film. Madam Minister, Minister Panashway, and others who are here, and guests. It's very interesting. I heard the question earlier about are there more details on the filmmaker. I do happen to know many of the people that were in the film, including Raoul Jean, we've worked with on other exhibits. He was in fact hired by the Humane Societies to go out on the ice. That's how he was able to get that footage of them so closely. After he saw that particular scene that he commented on, it changed his mind. He is a vegetarian, so he's not one who is he's not one that is promoting sealing in any way. He just wanted to present a very rational perspective. And I think it was very interesting that he was able to change his perspective in that way. I think looking at the revenues that some of these organizations bring in as well, it showed the 75, 77, those are millions of dollars. And today we believe that the Humane Society International is bringing in somewhere in the area of $120 million. International Fund for Animal Welfare, $35 to $50 million, mainly around the seal hunt and the use of that white coat image. One of the things that I prepared a brief PowerPoint here to show you some of the information that we've gathered over the last little while to give you a more updated perspective on where things are today, and even taking us into the markets in China. So I see he's taken the computer away, so he's pulling that PowerPoint together. I have also had the pleasure of being in the Magdalen Islands on a number of occasions, and was there in 2009 during the seal hunting season with Jean-Claude Lapierre, Jenny Longape, others, Pierre-Yves Daou, the veterinarian. We worked with them very closely. Through the Fur Institute of Canada, we've had a sealing committee since 2005. As the sealing issue became hot again, the members of the Institute, provincial governments, veterinarians, sealing organizations, came forward and said they wanted to establish their own committee to gather all of the different players together to address the issues that they face, that they saw from a public relations standpoint, but also from an industry management standpoint. It showed there that after the white coat ban in 1983 in Europe, the market really collapsed, and this is where the Inuit communities were severely damaged, even though they had an exemption to that white coat ban in Europe from 1983. And the various groups have come together to redevelop the industry, and we're redeveloping markets for the pelts, the oils, new research in the area of the collagen that you saw, the use of heart valves. Very interesting, I was in Strasbourg at the time of the votes of the European ban in April 1st, 2009, with the heart surgeon from Greece who was using these heart valves. He'd been to the Magdalen Islands on a number of occasions, was collecting these heart valves from the hunters, and was using them and felt that they had a better opportunity of using that he was using these heart valves. I was there when it was the butcher in the film actually was the one who was collecting the heart valves for him, because he has a CFIA certified vessel to bring the meat in, etc. And with these heart valves, he felt that they were calcify less than porcine and bovine valves that we use in operations. And they would, the rejection rate on the mechanical ones or the synthetic ones is 50%. And in his original research that he was conducting through the early part of 2000s, he found that they were just performing much better than anything else. And he was there in 2009 in the last-ditch effort to keep the Europeans from banning this product. Because in the European ban, it states pelts, oils, meats, and it even specifies heart valves in the regulation that restricts their ability to place this product on the market. And he was the one who was really trying to continue his work, and once the ban went into place, he had to cease his research, which is a complete shame. I think who knows which PowerPoint presentation there is now. I'll go through this extremely quickly because you've gotten, I think, a very good background on much of what I want to present, but I wanted to bring you up to speed. This was done in 2000, produced in 2007, the film, based on footage in 2005, 2006. And since that time, of course, we have had the European Union institute its ban. We, in 2009, based on the Humane Society and International Fund for Animal Welfare campaigns, which you saw much of there. Interestingly enough, the International Fund for Animal Welfare, in May of 2009, a month after the ban went through in Europe, they announced publicly that they were going to stop using the white coats in their advertising. As well, this is coming up. Is there anybody that has any specific questions on what they might have seen or some issues around the harvesting?
Do they still use the clubs? I thought they only shot the field these days.
The hack-a-pick and the club are both allowable under the Marine Mammal Regulation Act. It's primarily used as a secondary stunning device. The rifle is used for 95% of the hunt. In the Magdalen Islands, though, where this is and where I was in the particular year when I was hunting in that region, there were 200,000 seals born on the coast of the Magdalen Islands that year. Each party of hunters, actually it's a land-based hunt, so they would stake out an area with flags about 1 kilometer apart, and they would harvest seals out in that area, and then the next group would be beside them. There were so many people on the ice that if there were rifles going off, it would be absolutely disastrous. So, in fact, and this is where I was traveling around Newfoundland with Cahill, the veterinarian who you saw here, putting on workshops on the new development of the three-step process in 2008, which was the new hunting regime that he was talking about. And it was very clear, and in his mind, absolutely the most effective tool of dispatching those seals. And you could tell with some of those strikes. In the first strike, the animal was motionless, and as he explained, hemispheres of the brain crushed and were insensitive to pain at that time, bleeding out. So what I witnessed, I've hunted since I was young. What I witnessed at that time was the most tranquil, effective hunting experience I've ever had. Here, yes.
Sorry. Is the hunting method that's depicted in this movie on the Magdalen Islands the same as, for instance, in Nunavut, or the same that would be done in Newfoundland? I think there's different ways. I think you have a different way of hunting the seal, as do, I think, the people on the East Coast. Is that right?
It is. I've never hunted in Nunavut, but it's primarily a rifle. It's often used, or with a spear, a traditional method that's used still as well. In Newfoundland, there was one scene where you saw in the Magdalen Islands where they're on a boat shooting the seal, and then someone going out onto the ice to check it or re-stun it if they have to with the hack-a-pick and bring it aboard. That might be more depictive of a traditional Newfoundland hunt that is primarily a boat hunt.
What are the relative percentages of instant kill with guns and with clubs?
There's many different studies. Maybe I'll just take you through this a little bit, and then I'll come back to that question, if I may. So, of course, the various seal products, from the traditional fur garments, also with other uses, the boots in the bottom from Norway, a sporran from Scotland, beautiful seal loin. I actually cooked one from that butcher at my house last week, and you could actually cut it with a fork. It was lovely. The omega-3 oils that were talked about. Next, please. Is it on time delay? Bit of economics. In 2006, around the time of that hunt, the film, The landed value of the pelts alone was around $50 million, and that's just for the Canadian hunters. So to say that that is a pittance for small rural coastal communities is bizarre. And you can see that in 2007 was actually when the Netherlands and Belgium instituted a ban on seal products, which led to a declaration in the European Parliament in 2008, which then led to a ban in 2009. So while all this political uncertainty was going on and coming off market highs, that when people paid an extremely high price for a product and the next year it becomes uncertain, then the market becomes nervous. And very quickly, the market, in classic case of supply and demand, just dropped right off. And in fact, what we started seeing was then a reduction in harvest levels, and companies had excess of product available, so they weren't willing to pay as much and they weren't willing to buy as much. Photographic evidence that seals do in fact eat fish. Cod, in fact. This is not your usual picture that you'd see from the Humane Societies or International Fund for Animal Welfare. This is the Magdalen Islands. This is a gray seal, caught very close to shore. The guy on the right is built like a refrigerator. He's about 6'3". These can be upwards of 400 kilograms and can eat about 1.4 tons of fish per year, each seal. I missed my population statistics at the beginning of this slide. Gray seals have gone from 1972 from around 10,000 seals to upwards of 350 to 400,000 seals. This is the gray seal. On the harp seal, from 1970s, they went from about 1.2 million. During the film, 5.8 million. Fisheries and Oceans numbers today, 8 million. If you ask Greenland, they would say 12 million. All eating 1 million tons of fish, or 1 ton of fish per year. Yes, ma'am?
What's the natural predator of those seals?
There would be killer whales, would be one, man, another, starvation, disease. Polar bears, yeah, certainly. This is Namibia. So a fur seal off the coast of